ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene here as always in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Oh, by the way, first thing I have to say, I got together with my mom last night for a little birthday dinner. She said thank you to everybody for the well wishes for her birthday. She really appreciated it, even though she could not be here with us yesterday because she was teaching my kids in school. Because that's
what we do now.
That's just another thing that Mama Tank does to keep the Spencer family running. So she thanks everybody for the well wishes for her birthday yesterday. It was a good one.
It takes a village to raise a child.
We got a lot to get into on the program this morning. Apparently, the Russell Wilson thing, everybody's starting to freak out. Russell's finally being outspoken, and he's never done that before. And so now we don't know how to act when he says just mundane things.
They let Russ cook, and now he wants to buy the ingredients. Stunner.
Todd's drunk. Todd McShay. He has put out his newest mock draft, and Jeremy thinks he's just completely off his rocker.
I actually, honest to God, think he might be plastered.
And, of course, today is a day where everybody's talking about the NBA. God, those Nets are horrible.
Yeah, the Nets suck. Hey, you remember what I said? You remember that thing I said about the Nets couldn't play dead in the Western on defense?
Yeah.
There it is. They got shellacked by the Detroit Pistons, who are barely an NBA team.
Yeah, so last night was a good night in the Spencer household. Patrick Holt, we had steaks on the grill. Fantastically done by my wife. Salad and a baked potato. It's my mom's favorite meal. Feed her a ribeye, and she'll love you forever.
Ribeye?
Yep.
Really?
Ribeye is her favorite cut of meat.
I just had a ribeye the other day. I think I'm wrong about ribeyes. I've never been a big fan of the ribeye. They're really fatty.
Well, you have to pick the good ones.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, but they're all fatty. That cut of meat is fatty by nature.
Well, that's kind of the point, though. Is it's the more flavorful part of the beef.
And I agree.
It's, well marbled with the fat, and you just can't. I've had this discussion with so many people in the past. It's like, well, it's got that big hunk of fat in the middle of it. Well, don't buy that one, idiot.
You know who really loves ribeyes? Mama.
Because
Mama gets all the fat because I don't eat the fat. I'm watching my girlish figure. No, I cook with it, but I don't eat it.
Really?
It tastes weird. It's chewy, and I don't like it. I don't like chewy. I don't like chewy, and I don't like crunchy.
That's why when you cut your steak, you cut it with just a little bit of fat on the end of it, so you get the majority of the meat with a little bit of fat in it. It's the perfect little bite.
New York strip, it's leaner. It's all meat. It's all delicious. It's all good.
It is. T-bones are good as well. We had T-bones and porterhouses. For some reason, Ingles, one of our other fabulous sponsors on the ESPN Radio, inglesmarkets.com.
Low prices, love the savings.
Exactly. For I don't know what it was, but
we are corporate shills. If you didn't know that by now, you're not paying close enough
100%.
attention.
On Saturday, I went to the grocery store, and every steak was on sale. The porterhouses were on sale, T-bones, the ribeyes, everything.
You know why?
Ooh, I cleaned up.
You know why they were all on sale?
Why?
On sale?
Why?
Because you will love low prices, love the savings.
Yeah, everything was on sale, so I bought one of everything. And then we were like, hey, it's Mom's birthday. Let's have steaks.
Yeah,
so we cooked them all last night.
Yeah, tomorrow I fully plan on coming in here wearing a shirt that says Vitali, whatever the fuck that is, .com. They reached out to me. I don't have to streak.
Oh,
they actually
really?
paid me more for me to not streak.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing. Yeah. It's not a good look.
Oh, the Wagyu ribeye is good.
Wagyu.
Or whatever.
Wagyu?
I have no idea what that is.
Like that there Wagyu beef. That's a good thing.
No clue. No clue. What is a Wagyu beef?
It's Wagyu rib. Patrick Holt could probably tell me if I'm right on this. I think it's the most expensive cut of steak you can buy. It's Kobe or Wagyu. I don't know which one's more expensive. I bought both.
Yeah.
And they're both tremendous.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
And guess what? Even Wagyu and even Kobe, they still get a fun mixture of ketchup in A1.
Oh, Japanese cow. Okay. It's a Japanese cow.
Yeah.
I don't have Japanese cows. I don't know where Japanese cows, I guess they are in Japan. And
no matter the cut of meat, no matter where it came from, it's still going to have a nice little sauce of A1 ketchup. Me and Pat Mahomes. Ketchup on steak.
No.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
No! You're doing it wrong. Stop putting ketchup on your steak.
I do, and it's delicious.
No, it's not.
I think it's funny now. From any point, from here on, anytime I'd make a spicy take, I'm just going to follow it with hashtag birds aren't real.
So, do they have to be shipped in from Japan, or do we have these Japanese cows here in America?
I don't know how
That's
they get
the
here.
question.
I know you can when you cook them, they're delicious.
Most Wagyu is actually raised in America by Snake River Farms. Okay, so there you go.
And it's Snake River Farms.
Stop calling it Japanese beef if it's from America.
Snake River Farms. Love the snake, taste the beef. What up?
Is beef hyphenated? Do we have like Japanese American cows?
No.
No, it's just Japanese cows.
Nope.
That's where the lineage comes from.
No. This has been 6 of the weirdest minutes we've ever done.
I love this path that we're going down here. It's I think it's making him uncomfortable, and I think it's making me laugh.
A lot of the things you say make me uncomfortable. I.e. JPP's massive sacks.
Hey, 3-finger bandit, baby.
I'm putting that on a shirt. That's happening.
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Tank loves JPP's massive sacks.
That's right. He's going to join the Von Miller Sackmaster Club. It's still the greatest tattoo, I think, ever. What even were we fucking talking about?
We had 3 lovely topics, and we wound up talking about steak.
Right, we went down to Wagyu beef. It's like champagne. Kobe can only come from Japan. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we've beat that horse to death. Russell Wilson.
And based on his dietary choices, he might eat that horse that we have beaten to death.
I would.
You eat goat. So.
Put some fucking ketchup on it. It's going to need that.
Most things taste good with ketchup.
To me, I think the Russell Wilson thing's being overblown.
I don't.
I really do. I think this is Russell Wilson for the first time in his career coming around to, I've done a lot for this organization, and, I'd appreciate having a little bit of say in what's going on. And I'm not going to stand back anymore and be Johnny Rah-Rah guy, team guy, while y'all are making decisions that are getting me killed. I think that's where he's at. I don't think he wants to leave.
He doesn't.
I don't think he wants he doesn't want any part of this, the Deshaun Watson saga. He doesn't want to create any of that. But I think people are taking it that way. And that's the thing that I can't wrap my head around.
That's what we do.
Well,
that's what we do in sports media today. Oh, somebody said something. They must want to be traded.
Right.
They'll go to the Bears for Nick Foles and Terry Cohen. And a 1.
And a 1.
Russell Wilson's not being dealt. Here's what happened. This has been widely known for a month. Russell Wilson didn't like the way the Brian Schottenheimer thing ended.
Yeah.
He wasn't a fan of it. Now, there are some people that think he thought it should have happened earlier. And there are some people that thought that he was really beholden to Brian Schottenheimer. But I don't necessarily think... I don't think either one's really accurate. I think he wants it to be known that these are not my decisions. I've been sacked a lot, and I don't love it.
Mm-hmm. We've got to get better. I've been sacked 400 times.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're not going to fix that, then maybe we've got to make some other decisions down the road. But for now, I mean, he's still team guy. He's still Russell Wilson. He's still ultimate leader. Just because this is the first time he's ever said anything, I guess people are interpreting it as, well, things have to be really, really bad if Russell Wilson's talking about it. Because Russell Wilson doesn't talk about anything. But I think this is just kind of one of those things where the guy's like, I need to say something eventually. And this is where we are. And everybody's going out on this list, oh my God, Russell Wilson's going to be traded. No, he's not. What did Jeremy say yesterday on the ESPN Asheville show? If you start hearing these rumors about guys being traded, just look at the logistics.
Where'd it come
See
from?
if it actually could ever work on the books. And he can.
That literally kills 90% of rumors.
It'd be a $40 million dead cap hit, if Russell Wilson were to be traded by the Seattle Seahawks. He's not going anywhere.
No, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really think a lot of people think he's going to be dealt. They're just shocked that Russell Wilson has been the ultimate team guy, and now he's actually come out and said something against the franchise. This is where we're at. If you put microphones in these guys' faces constantly, which we do, eventually they're going to say something, and I respect it. I got to give Russell Wilson credit. If you remember, my knock on the Seahawks last year was their defense and their line. Remember that? I said it for months, and what beat them? And I would say Russell Wilson probably nominally irritated by that. Like, you know what? I'm doing everything I can do. We've had T-shirts made, let Russ cook. Well, Russ cooked. The problem is that some of the ingredients were bad. And so the stew turned into a goat stew bunch of shit. And Russ wants it known. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
More power to you. I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah. I think we're all just kind of caught up in the carousel. This whole quarterback carousel thing is way better than any carousel I've ever ridden in my life. Because that by far is the worst amusement ride on the planet.
Say that again? You said amusement park ride. I went to respond to a comment, and I was like, oh shit, we're going down another rabbit hole.
No, I'm saying the quarterback carousel. I would say the carousels are a horrible amusement ride.
Never been on one.
Not really.
I don't see the teacups in the carousel. I've never really understood the point of spinning around in circles. If I wanted to do that, I'd watch the Weekend's halftime show again.
Oh, God.
The teacups are way better than the carousels. But this quarterback carousel that we're on, everybody's just caught up in it. And they're like, oh my God, Matt Stafford's moved, and Carson Wentz could be going somewhere, and Dak Prescott could be available if the Dallas Cowboys don't pick him up. They want everything. It's now you give them a little bit of movement, and you got Adam Schefter out here talking about there could be 18 or more teams that switch quarterbacks this year, and now every quarterback's available. Now everybody. About problems.
We're just gonna trade them all.
Right. Deshaun Watson's gonna move, and that means Russell Wilson's gonna demand a trade as well. No, he's not.
Russell's not demanding shit.
No.
That's not in his character at all.
No.
However, I would say he's nominally irritated that guys like George Fant weren't re-signed. I would say that bothers him. George Fant was a phenomenal lineman for what Russell needed. I'm not saying he was a great lineman. I watched him with the Jets all year. He's decent. He was also a college tight end that allowed them to be more multiple. He was light on his feet, very agile. I would say it irritated him that the Jets were able to pry him away. While he's got a line that's made up of guys like Mike Iupati, who used to be good, and his last name has potty in it. Take that for what it's worth.
Oh, you're a child.
I'm 12.
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. There were only two quarterbacks in the entire league that were sacked more than Russell Wilson this past year. You know who they are?
That were sacked more?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
Sam Darnold. No, he didn't play enough games.
No.
Sacked more than Russ.
And
Joe Burrow.
No.
Oh, God.
Wrong.
Huh.
But this is actually another guy who didn't play the entire season and led the league in being sacked. It's Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was sacked 50 times this season. Deshaun Watson, 49, and Russell Wilson was sacked 47 times. I mean, what do you expect a guy to say? Do you expect a guy to sit there and just say, yeah, everything's fine. You guys go do what you want to do? Well, no, we expect those conversations to happen behind closed doors. Oh, well, okay, guess what? I guarantee you Russell Wilson's been talking behind closed doors for all of this time. And nobody's listening. And so now, let me put it out there in the media. Create a firestorm, get people talking about me leaving, and put a little feet to the fire here in the Seattle Seahawks organization. I mean, what is the one thing Russell Wilson is going, he's going to be in the conversation of the greats of this game. And how do you stay in that conversation? By staying healthy and playing longer. You're not going to do that getting sacked 47 times a year. Eventually, that's going to catch up with you. Eventually, you're going to have a devastating injury. And that's what's driving the Deshaun Watson thing. Deshaun Watson realizes I can be in this greatest of all time conversation as well. or among the greatest.
He can be. I don't think it depends on where he goes.
Right, he can be, but he's never going to in Houston.
No. It would take an act of God for you to be even vaguely good in Houston, because that team is, that whole building is on fire.
But Russell's in a different position, obviously. They've already won a Super Bowl title. They played in another Super Bowl. They should have had 2 Super Bowl titles had it not been for their dumbass coach. So he's just sitting here saying, I have to have protection. And I'm not going to fault him for that. And I think everybody's a little silly for overreacting. Because he's going nowhere.
You know who is going somewhere?
Who's that?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. To the Indianapolis Colts?
I'm standing by that. The Eagles came out yesterday. And Pat McAfee, if you don't watch the Pat McAfee show, I absolutely love Pat McAfee. He went on a rant yesterday about where information comes from that I, honest to God, think might be my favorite thing I've seen on the internet all year. When you hear rumors, think about where they came from. What he said about trade rumors, you can kill most of them with a salary cap, that's true. But when you hear information, it came from somewhere. People don't just make this shit up. They heard, well, some people make this shit up. Yeah, I've heard some very dumb things that I don't know where you got that from. But think about where it comes from. So we're talking about there have been significant offers for Carson Wentz. Okay, where'd that come from? Who put that out there? Who wanted you to know that? Philadelphia. Philadelphia wanted you to know that. You know why? For the same reason that I've said for a year. If you go back to our draft coverage last year, everybody wanted to make Doug Peterson the problem. Oh, Doug and Carson don't get along. It's toxic. We have to get rid of Carson. Okay. Who took Jalen Hurts in the second round? It was Howie Roseman. It had nothing to do with Doug Peterson. Howie Roseman came out and said, I don't have faith in Carson Wentz. He didn't have to say it to Carson. He said it with a draft pick. You use draft capital on a quarterback, and I am using that term very loosely right now. That's what you got. You're riding with Jalen Hurts now.
Yeah.
So yesterday the Eagles come out and say we haven't had what was the word they used? Fair market.
Fair offer.
Something to the we haven't had fair offers. Okay, well you just had aggressive offers like 5 days ago. The only two teams, the only way that this comes out is either one of the teams puts it out there, or the Eagles who are receiving the offer puts it out there. I think it's been the Eagles the whole time. And I still maintain it's going to be Carson Wentz for the 21st pick of the draft. You might get another mid-round pick, but that's going to be it. And then Carson Wentz reunites with Frank Reich, and that's how this goes. I've heard that's what Carson wants. I've heard that's the team most interested in Carson. And the Nick Foles thing is comical to me. Why would Nick Sirianni want Nick Foles?
Right.
They have no relationship whatsoever. You're going to be learning a new offense. And we've pretty much seen, if you get away from the Andy Reid tree, Nick Foles falls to shit. Also works with Matt Nagy, because he's not great as a coach.
Right. It's amazing how many guys look really good propped up by a great coach.
Oh, I mean, it works both ways. We all thought Bill Belichick was the greatest coach in the history of football. And then Tom left. Now what? What you got now, Bill? What you got now, Bill? Ha-ha! Waited for 20 years to look at your little punk hooded ass and go, little no-win ass having bitch.
Are you shocked that he hasn't retired yet?
Bill, yes.
I remember all the talk. Oh, he's going to retire as soon as the season's over.
Well, apparently he's a glutton for punishment. Apparently he wants to just sit around and get his brains beat in for the next 3 to 5 years with Mitchell Trubisky as his quarterback.
He believes he can do it.
Oh, I love it. I love looking at the AFC East going, the New England Patriots are the worst team in this division by 1.25 miles. I love that. It does something to me.
Because they're definitely not going down the Cam Newton road again. No.
No, that's not happening.
Has there been any more talk about the Jimmy Garoppolo thing?
That talk has never stopped. I mean, the Jimmy Garoppolo and New England
thing
is real.
Do we know that have they even talked to each other? Or is this just a thing that we've made up?
With Jimmy Garoppolo?
Right. We all assume, because he was Bill Belichick's guy at one time, that this is going to happen. But have there been any communications that we can verify between the New England Patriots and San Francisco?
Well, and most trade negotiations are not verified, unless apparently you have them with the Detroit Lions. Apparently, if you come at the Lions, you best come with something you're not afraid for people to know about.
Right.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Lions came out yesterday through back channels, but it has all been tied back to the Lions front office, and said Carolina offered Teddy Bridgewater an 8 with a 5 for Matt Stafford. I said this on the ESPN show. I need to say this to our lovely listeners that can see my face. If that's true, Detroit's dumb. If you were offered 8 and Teddy Bridgewater and instead you went, let me wait 2 years for a pick in the back 20s and we're going to go with Jared Goff, then you're dumb. Dumb to dumb to dumb to dumb dumb dumb. Because those two things are not even close to each other. Mm-hmm. If you had offered me 8 and Teddy Bridgewater for Matt Stafford, I could. He's already on a plane. You cannot unwind this. We have already sent him. He will be in Charlotte in an hour. Hour 45. About how long?
Hour 45. Okay.
You're with yeah. You're not fighting the Gulf Stream on the way down. You're riding with it.
Gotcha.
I laughed at that yesterday. Oh, it's tied back to Detroit. Well, Detroit basically just came out and said, we're dumb.
The movement is incredible on where we're going to see guys end up, especially in the NFL draft. And
well, Todd McShay's got a spicy.
The mocks continue to get crazier and crazier. And
Todd's
again, I'm going to tie this to the Colin Cowherdification of sports media, of just say shit to get talked about. Because that's the only thing that this says to me about Todd McShay's mock draft 2.0.
Todd McShay's more dialed in than the vast majority of us. If you really want, I want you to think about what I'm going to say. Read the tea leaves of damn near every GM in the NFL. Todd McShay's like the Kevin Bacon of the NFL. He played in college with Joe Douglas, the GM of the Jets. There are several relationships like that where he's really close with GMs.
Right.
Here's what I think Todd has done. Because I feel like Todd is getting the same information I'm getting times 10. So in his mock draft 2.0, obviously Trevor Lawrence goes 1.
Yep.
Zach Wilson goes 2 to the Jets. Carolina trades up to 3 with Miami for Trey Lance. That's not fucking happening under any circumstances. And Atlanta takes Justin Fields at 4. That could happen. You're not trading up for any of these quarterbacks. I'm going to go out on the limb. Right. You're not doing it. You know why? Because this is what gets you fired. You give up draft capital in a trade to go up and get one of these quarterbacks, you damn sure better be right.
Yeah.
And I got news for you. There's not a team in the NFL that feels good enough about Trey Lance to trade up for him. There's not one. There's not enough tape. You remember the Bill Parcells rules about drafting a quarterback? Do you know that Trey Lance breaks every damn one of them? Mm-hmm. Should have started this many games. Should have thrown this many passes. Should have had this many wins. He breaks them all. Every damn one of them. There's not a team in the NFL that will trade up for him. Now, I do think Carolina can sit at 8 and get him. I'm getting less and less sure that's what Carolina wants to do. Mm-hmm. Their aggressive, push on Matt Stafford, the fact they've called on Deshaun Watson, that tells me Carolina thinks they're closer to competitive than they are. That always makes me nervous when a front office thinks you're better. When you think you're better than you are, you do things that will hurt you in the long run.
Yeah.
I mean, be really honest. Carolina trades 8 and Teddy Bridgewater for Matt Stafford. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea.
Why?
Because Matt Stafford's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Mm-hmm. It works in L.A. because I don't know if you know how the cap works, but the L.A. Rams have set it on fire. There is going to come a time where they're going to need me to come in and play right tackle because they're going to need somebody that is real cheap.
Right.
I don't know if you figured this out about me.
You're real cheap.
I'm a slut for money.
It won't take much to convince Jeremy.
But that's why it worked with the Rams.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in Carolina. Mm-hmm. Carolina's not this close. We have that. You remember that guy whose name we don't say on this show?
Yep.
He's still in that division. Mm-hmm. Which means for at least one more year, you're not the best team in that division. Period.
For at least one more year.
I don't think you're... Here's what bothers me about Carolina. And I'm really not trying to come down on Carolina. We live in a Carolina market. Most Panther fans are very nice to me. Some tell me to do things that are anatomically impossible, and that's the reason that I say shit like what I'm getting ready to say. You're projecting a lot. I understand Jeremy Chin was good. If you think he should have been Rookie of the Year, I got a bridge to sell you. It wasn't even close. It was Chase Young. It was Chase Young by a mile. You've got a lot of Brian Burns, Yetur Gross-Matos, Jeremy Chin, Troy Pride,
Dante Jackson.
Dante Jackson's a little older. He's not really what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You've got a lot of guys that are in their first, second year that you're projecting to be really good. You know who else did that? There's another team that you are really familiar with that did that exact same thing and never came to fruition. Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons had a lot of Keanu Neal, Deion Jones, Vic Beasley, on and on and on and on. And it never came to fruition. You can't project that when you haven't seen it on the field. Brian Burns is a great pass rusher. You're right. He's terrible against the run. He'll have plays. He shows out in plays. Do you see the helmet sitting right in front of me? I'm a diehard Florida State fan. I've known who Brian Burns was since he was 15 years old. He's not great against the run. You're going to have deficiencies in that forever. I forgot Derek Brown.
But that's why I was getting ready to say that's why we got Derek Brown.
Yeah, I forgot Derek Brown.
Right.
You're projecting. The fact that Carolina thinks they're a quarterback away from being competitive tells me that there is a high likelihood that the team that does something stupid is Carolina, which is not trade up for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is 2 years away from being 2 years away. Yeah, I used the Fran Fraschilla line.
Nice.
I don't think it's that far, but he's a long way away from being a starting level quarterback in the NFL.
I believe the Carolina Panthers are closer to being competitive than Jeremy does, but here's the thing. Making a move like that for Matt Stafford, that would have taken you to that hellhole where Jeremy has constantly told us and instructed us you don't want to be there. You don't want to be just on the outside of the playoffs. You're too good to get a high draft pick. You're not good enough to actually compete for a title. That's exactly where Matthew Stafford would have taken him.
All right, let's play
it's probably where they'll be on the high end of that if Deshaun Watson ends up going there.
Which he's not.
Which he's not going to.
Let's play a fun game because you said this to me yesterday, and I realized I'm going to have to make you understand what it is I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm going to name a team. You tell me who's better, them or Carolina.
Okay.
Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona.
L.A. Rams.
L.A.
And this is with Matthew Stafford, by the way. San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears.
Wait, Saints next year? No.
I mean, projection-wise, you think they're going to be very different. I get that. I'm talking about right now.
Right now, yeah.
If they find some way to hoodoo the magic again, and they 1 year you got Jameis Winston with the team with that team that he had last year, who's better, the Saints with Jameis Winston as they currently sit, or the Carolina Panthers with Matthew Stafford?
The Saints.
There you go. Chicago Bears.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close, but still the Bears. Green Bay Packers.
That's Packers.
Minnesota Vikings.
No, it's the Panthers.
I disagree with you. Washington football team. One of them made the damn playoffs. This is not hard. Team. Okay. Do you realize that I just said 10 of the 16 teams in the NFC? You didn't think about but 2 of them.
Right.
That's my point. And this is with a quarterback that I have routinely said is top 12 in the NFL. You're not that good. Don't do that. Trust the process. Sit at 8. Take Trey Lance. Go another year with Teddy Bridgewater. You're going to be about 7 and 9. I get it. Sucks. Been there for a long time. You want to do this the right way.
And I fully agree with everything he just said. The problem is, I think Carolina, it's obvious that they think that they're almost there. And I don't know that they're that far off, but almost there from being, the last wild card team. They're looking at their division right now, probably going, well, we got an opening here. Drew Brees is leaving. The Matt Ryan thing's up in the air. I'm surprised there hasn't been more talk about Matt Ryan moving. He'll be next.
Oh, Matt Ryan! There's no talk of him moving because Arthur Blank would actually have to sever a limb. But that's what it would cost. We don't have enough money. Here's my arm and my jacket made of puppies.
That'll be the next rumor that starts up, though. We haven't gotten to him. We're ticking him away piece by piece. We'll get to Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Michael Whiteside.
Future in Atlanta.
Yeah, Michael Whiteside, who's watching us on YouTube, of which I greatly recommend watching us on YouTube. It's a much easier to discern player. Follow us at the Sportsocracy. Click the little beer icon in the bottom logo. That is the subscribe button. It doesn't work on Facebook. I'm pointing the wrong way. Right there. Mirrored images are difficult. Where the hell is I headed? If the Matt Ryan talk starts, I guarantee it's San Francisco. That's where it makes the most sense. His best years were with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
And every 49ers fan in the world is going, please get us a better quarterback. Well, my fear is that you're going to get an older version of the quarterback you have right now.
A little more accomplished, though.
Yeah, you want an MVP, which is why the MVP's a joke.
Oh, come on.
If you ever think Matt Ryan was the best player in the NFL, I have a bridge to say.
It's a quarterback award, and he had all the stats.
Yeah, it's the best. The MVP is the best quarterback of this year that's either otherworldly or has never done it before.
Yeah.
I.e. why Matt Ryan and Cam Newton have won MVPs.
And Lamar.
And Lamar Jackson.
I'm not. I mean, I don't argue that point with you. I understand.
I laughed at McShay's mock. I'm not gonna lie to you. The idea that there would be 4 quarterbacks in the top 4 is comical to me. In a year where there is no consensus on the quarterbacks at all. You know what the consensus is currently? Trevor Lawrence is the best one.
Yep.
And Mac Jones' ceiling is the lowest. That's the consensus. I know scouts that have Justin Fields at 2 comfortably. I know scouts that think it's laughable you would take anybody not named Zach Wilson. I know scouts that think Zach Wilson's going to be a busty bust. There's no consensus. So opining that there's going to be trades like this is hilarious to me.
But I don't think that I don't think that we're going to see 4 quarterbacks taken in the first 4 picks.
No, there's no shot.
It's never happened.
And in the comments, Slick Rick, who has a fantastic show, by the way, check it out. He put a link in the comments. I dove in on it yesterday. It's pretty fantastic. He said Trey Lance is not that far behind Carson Wentz when he left North Dakota State. Yeah, there's one great big difference. There were a lot of starts under Carson Wentz's belt, and we knew what Carson Wentz was. We don't know what Trey Lance is. There's a lot of projection with Trey Lance, and I like the kid. I'm not trying to hammer him. I think a lot of people think I'm low on him. I'm really not. I actually like him. I just don't see how it's all right. So I'll walk down the path with me. Let's say Carolina does what McShay puts out there, and they trade up to 3 with Miami. You do realize everybody in that building will be fired before Trey Lance can be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Right, because if you do that, he has to end up
play immediately. Let's play right now.
Yeah, but he has to end up being as good as Trevor Lawrence. Because what you just gave up for him, because what they were talking about, or what McShay opined here, was giving up number 8, giving up a 2, and a first-round pick next year.
Which is what it would cost, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure it would.
No team's doing that.
But that's not, you don't make that move for a guy you're not sure about.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing I've been talking about with the Carolina Panthers and making this decision. If you can sit at 8 and find a guy that you're in love with and you really feel good about his, projection, fine. But you're not in a position where you have to be pressured into taking a quarterback no matter what.
Well, you don't trade up. You can't trade up for a guy. Just remember this. The Kansas City Chiefs traded up from the mid-20s to 10 to take Pat Mahomes. They got killed for that for a year.
They did.
Now, granted, it worked out. It worked out great. Pat Mahomes was far further down the road than Trey Lance is. And really think about this. Let's say Alex Smith had been the starter for Kansas City another year. Do you not think it would have gotten loud in Kansas City of, you wasted draft capital. Look at all the things you could have done. You need corners and you need linebackers and blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what you have in Carolina.
Yeah.
Because you got Trey Lance holding the damn clipboard because he's not ready to play. Washington just gave Taylor Heineke a 2-year deal worth a little over $8 million. Yeah, I'm starting to think Taylor Heineke might be the starting quarterback of the Washington football team next year.
Which, to me, is laughable.
Alex Sanders said, I know this sounds dumb, but I feel like the Panthers take Fields. It's not dumb. It's not dumb at all. It's really not. I'm going to keep saying this. I'll say this through the whole draft season. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder in this quarterback class. The problem is that there's so little consensus that you can't trade up and stand on your projection. If you trade up for Justin Fields, and he's a disaster because he has Achilles Smith bad level projections. Looking at all of the things that all of the possible outcomes, about 30% of them end up with him being Achilles Smith or worse. You trade up for that and that happens, you are LMNO fired. because you gave up draft capital for that. You're not going to do that. I think this draft goes exactly like last year's did. I think the Jets want to trade from 2, the Dolphins want to trade from 3, and nobody's going to be calling. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are sitting at 5 going, we feel really sure we're going to get the guy we want at 5. Because they want Penny Sewell, there's no doubt. And I thought they might, work something with the Jets and trade up from 5 to 2. 'Cause it would be expensive, but it wouldn't be that expensive. I think they're in a position where they go, we'll call your bluff. Do it. We dare you. Do it.
And if you're any of those other teams, you do it.
What, take Penny Sewell?
Yes, take him away from them.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's the best path for the Jets. Take Penny Sewell, use that 23rd pick that you got from Seattle on another weapon, build the lineup, and give Sam Darnold a year.
The question is, will they get to that point?
I don't know.
And that's the one thing we don't know. Because I think, I could very easily see Deshaun Watson ending up in Houston being one of those 2 picks. And then we'll see them fuck it up.
What, Houston?
Yeah.
Houston would take, if Houston trades up to, here's what's I've laughed at a lot. If Houston trades up to 2 and gets Sam Darnold, you take Devontae Smith. And that actually is a path for that team to be good. I would love that deal for Houston. I wouldn't necessarily love it for the Jets. Miami, same thing. All right, they trade up to 3. You get Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, I'll take and Devontae Smith again for the square.
Yep.
Or Jamar Chase. Give him a weapon. It's not hard.
Yeah.
To me, Houston, the one thing Houston can fuck this up is holding Deshaun Watson. That's the one mistake you can make. Because you have an asset that's worth a lot. And you can completely reset this franchise.
And it's not going to get better. That's the thing. There's no recovery. There's no coming back from this. I don't think there's a way to... I mean, obviously, I feel like Deshaun Watson is a guy that if a deal doesn't get done, he'll strap it on for the season and he'll be out there to play. I don't think he's a guy that would sit out.
No.
But this is a relationship that will never recover. And you aren't, the more dire this situation gets, the price tag goes down.
The Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson's relationship right now is like that crazy ex we all have. Oh, you followed me to somebody's house. I don't know that I could get over that.
You date weird people. I'm just going to say.
I don't now. Now I'm married to a wonderful person. That should teach a class on how to be a wife because she's phenomenal.
She is that.
She's the best. The sheer fact that she puts up with my bullshit is stunning. Because, I not shocking to anybody, I come with a lot of bullshit. I'm not the most fun person to live with the vast majority of the time.
Kenny Wilson put a comment in a little while ago. Said it's a perfect time to have a losing team. You can't go out to some games anyway, so save your money till it gets better. Who wants to buy tickets to watch that anyway? I mean, I guess that to me that would have been a great motto for this year.
Yeah, next year's going to be the Wild Wild West, baby.
Right.
Oh, we got shit happening. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be hugging people. I'm just going to hug strangers. I'm just walk up to them and go, I just want to do this.
Because think about the state that we're in right now. I mean, we've got people already that are running around like everything's fine because the vaccine's just been introduced. It's not the distribution hasn't even gotten into full gear yet, and we still have people demanding to get together and all of that. You start opening up these doors, yeah, it's going to get aggressive next year. I don't have, I talked about this at the very beginning of the shutdown. The comeback in sports is going to be phenomenal. I mean, for these businesses, for the teams as a business, they're going to sell every ticket they have. They're going to do more concessions business than they ever have. Merchandise is going to spike. Once this thing opens back up, it's going to be Katie bar the door.
Who the fuck is this Katie person? And why is she barring a door?
Greene said it yesterday on his show, and I went, see? It's not just a Southern thing. Greene knows it.
I just want to know who Katie is.
Well, Katie,
She's barring the door.
She's barring the door. Katie, bar the door.
I mean, look, I have
the enemy's at the door.
I mean, look, I have some weird turns of phrase. Anybody in the comments, what is your favorite phrase of mine? We had an argument about this yesterday, and I'm really curious. Mm-hmm. The leader in the clubhouse was greasy peg up a cat's ass, which I can't really take credit for because that's my dad's. I just stole it from him, and now I use it a lot.
Kenny, by the way.
Yeah.
Got you, bro.
Yeah.
Except for the NBA. Yeah, the NBA, I mean, there could be a problem, at least for one team. Jeremy doesn't want to talk about it. So
No, we're not talking about that.
I'm just saying.
Mark Cuban, whatever whatever you want.
Talk about stomping on your own toes.
Alexander said his favorite phrase of mine is, "It is what it is." I do say that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I do say that a lot.
Greasy pole up a cat's ass.
Greasy peg up a cat. Couldn't run a greasy peg up a cat's ass.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put that one on a shirt. I think that needs to be a thing.
And we need to have a picture of that too as well.
Jeremy Russell said he likes dumpster juice in many ways that I use it. It's usually attributed to things that come from Cleveland. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, you do. Don't try to pad it now. You've made so many enemies in Cleveland. Don't say, "Oh, I don't know why I say they're dumpster."
Did I tell you I filed for a media credential for the draft?
Oh my God! No, you didn't.
I 100% did.
This is something that you need to run by your partners because we're only allowed one per tandem.
Let's be really honest. If one of us went to the draft, which one of us should it be?
No, I meant we could have done this together. We could have submitted together, but now this. See, this is one of the things that you don't know about media credential work is that when you're an entity, they will only let you file one request per.
Well, I didn't file as this entity.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
I filed with somebody that I write for. Which it means it's most likely going to be rejected, and then we can file one together.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, let's do that.
No, I'm just busting your balls. So you did. So you put in for a media credential.
I did, and I want to go. I am dedicated. I want to go to the draft in Cleveland, and I want to be the most obnoxious, god-awful, anti-Baker Mayfield human there is. We have a new ad campaign coming out real soon that Baker's involved. We discussed this morning. We did the pre-production on it.
Yeah. Shocker for once. We talked about something before the show.
I think you're going to like it.
It's going to be fun.
I think you're going to like it. Especially if you're a fan of The Office.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's good.
Well, was there anything else in Todd McShay's mock, though, that you took exception to, or did you just not even get past the first 4 picks?
I got locked on the first 4 picks, and I was like, that's dumb. Don't do that. I also don't really like mocking trades this early. Mm-hmm. There's so much time between now and the draft. I mean, it's February the 10th? The draft is at the end of April. We have a season. Like half of winter and half of spring before the draft.
76 days from today.
Oh, that felt good. This feels so good.
The TB2 will just be over.
Yeah, I don't
by the time the draft comes.
Well, I'll file a media since I filed for a credential that you didn't care about. I'll file one for you to go to the TB12 or 2 or whatever the fuck that thing's called. The basketball tournament.
No, I was talking about the band.
Oh,
the TB2.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the TBT.
The TBT was what you were confused. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about the TBT.
Yeah,
we have normal sports now, so I don't care about your TBT or.
Alex Sanderson, no offense, being someone who used to hail from Ohio, those people are effing nuts. Be ready for that drunk dude fight.
Yep.
Let me state something as clearly as I can, Brian. You should probably. If there's any dude on planet Earth that's ready for a drunk dude fight, it's this dude right here. All the way in. 14 wicked wheat beers and let's get it on. Like Paige Van Zandt, bare knuckle boxing. Let's go. I don't even have to be mad at you. Let's just hit each other a bunch of times.
You just go get your ass kicked by some Ohio redneck.
Yeah, probably. I heard what you said about Baker Mayfield. Yes.
Yeah.
And LeBron James and all the other things that happen in your city.
And stop talking about a playoff winning quarterback.
You know why they've never found the Bermuda Triangle? Because it's the Cleveland airport. It's not where they're looking for it. Don't look for it out in the middle of the ocean. You fly into the Cleveland airport and you swear to God you just stepped out in 1986. Like, wow. Technology didn't get here, did it? I'm going to do this until April in the hopes that somebody goes, yeah, send him. It'll be fun.
Not only did Todd McShay have 4 quarterbacks going in the top 4 picks, but he also had the Chicago Bears trading up to number 12 with the San Francisco 49ers to get Mac Jones.
First of all, the Bears have already done this. His name was Rex Grossman. We've actually already played this game, and I don't think they want to do it again. I want you to really think about what you just said. Chicago is going to trade up to 12 with San Francisco, who, oh, by the way, needs a quarterback as well, for a limited quarterback that doesn't have a great arm and is just really smart. What did that sound like to you? That has Mitch Trubisky. They're drafting the same guy. It's just Mitch Trubisky can run and Mac Jones is really smart. That's it.
But this is what teams do. Teams make these stupid decisions to try to chase the dream, to try to chase down that quarterback. And that's like when we were having the discussion, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, and you were talking about you would always want to be this team that's bad, drafting a quarterback, so you get the chance at the generational players. Well, the shitty teams, they get stuck in that mode forever. And so that's why I'm on the side of I'd rather make this trade. Send picks to Houston for Deshaun Watson. Give me the sure thing and get me off of this chasing thing. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. We've been chasing a fucking quarterback forever. We lucked out that Tom Brady wanted to retire where it's warm.
I want to play a game, just based off what you just said.
Yeah.
You talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I get it.
I would. I don't want to be stuck in this area of trying to chase a quarterback over and over and over again. You look at the Cleveland Browns and the horrible decisions that they've been making. I mean, it's great if you got some guys in there that can make good decisions. But if you're an organization that always fucks these up, I mean, there's got to be some self-awareness here. You've got to know it.
All right. So
throughout the whole quarterback revolving door that Cleveland had, what was it? Like 26 quarterbacks in 22 seasons or some shit? Mm-hmm. Like, they keep making the wrong decision over and over and over again because they feel pressured into making that decision to get a quarterback no matter what.
I disagree with you. Mm-hmm. The Deshaun Watson thing, here's the reason I wouldn't do it. Because it's very hard to build a team around that. Unless it's a Tom Brady guy that people are willing to take less money to play around. I want to play a game. We don't evaluate, or I don't personally evaluate draft classes until 3 years removed.
Okay.
So this year I will be evaluating 2018. I'm going to name you a quarterback that went in the first round. You tell me if you were a GM, if you would extend them or not.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield.
No.
I'm stunned that was your answer. I
wouldn't, but Cleveland will.
I agree with you, but I'm shocked that was your answer. Sam Darnold.
Yes. I believe I would.
You are maddeningly inconsistent. My answer is no. Josh Allen.
Yes.
Josh Rose. That one doesn't qualify because you can't extend him when you've already cut him. Lamar Jackson.
No.
No. I'm right there. This did not at all go the way I thought it was going to. Mitch Trubisky.
Hell no.
And my question is, would you extend this guy to the contract that they are worth? Pat Mahomes.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Jared Goff.
No.
Carson Wentz.
No.
Paxton Lynch.
Fuck no.
Jameis Winston.
No.
Marcus Mariota.
No.
Blake Bortles.
No.
Johnny Manziel.
No.
Teddy Bridgewater.
No.
I think I proved my point. Here's the thing. I, as an organization, think we're going to get to a point with quarterbacks where we are with running backs right now.
Too many good ones?
No. Not enough good ones.
Not enough good ones.
How many quarterbacks are really worth big boy money right now? Honestly, that are worth $30+ million. The market's at 40. Mm-hmm. How many quarterbacks are worth that? $181 million cap is what I'm projecting at 181.6. I finally did the math, so I had a legitimate number. How many quarterbacks in the NFL are worth extending at that number? Ron said 2. I can see him out of the corner of my eye. My number's higher than that, but it's not by much.
I'd say I don't know, 7 or 8.
5. There are 5 in the NFL that I think are worth. And two of them are old as hell. Aaron Rodgers is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers.
But to me, you get into this path with quarterbacks, and you're talking about Deshaun Watson. All right, so once you pay Deshaun Watson, all of the weapons go out the door. Mm-hmm. Deshaun Watson has been great with half-ass talent.
Yes.
He's also been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL through 4 years of his career. Mm-hmm. 5 years of his career. You know what that tells me? You hold the ball too damn long. It ain't going to get better. Mm-hmm. You're making $50 million, or what was it, 30? His deal right now is $37 million a year. It was the APV, I believe.
I think so.
You think it's going to get better? You were on a rookie deal. You have one of the best left tackles in the league, and you think at $40 million this is going to get better?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Lamar Jackson, you think he's going to get better making $30+ million a year? Because you know what goes away when you do that? Calais Campbell goes away. Mm-hmm. Marcus Peters goes away. Matthew Judon walks for nothing. I keep doing this. Mm-hmm. Orlando Brown, by the way, we haven't talked about that yet. That's going to be a fun bag of shit.
What?
Have you heard the Orlando Brown story?
No.
So Orlando Brown is the right tackle for the Ravens. Mm-hmm. He wants to be paid as a left tackle. He does not give a shit that Ronnie Stanley is there. He thinks he's a premier left tackle, and he wants to be paid that way. That can't happen because you have to pay Lamar. Mm-hmm. So you wind up losing all of this talent for nothing. I look at a team, all right, I'll give you an example. The Miami Dolphins are differently abled to bring in Deshaun Watson than any team in the league. That's why that's my favorite landing spot for him, and it's not close. Mm-hmm. Because they already have a really good team. Mm-hmm. Well, they're really young. What's your window? What's their window to win? All right, let's say they make the deal. Let's say they make the deal we've all talked about for Deshaun Watson. You trade 3, you give up your pick next year, you give up your second pick this year, so you have no one this year, mm-hmm. you have no one next year, and you have and you give them Tua Tagovailoa. What's your window to win a title?
2 years?
If that.
3 years?
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
Because then you've got all these young guys that you have to extend, right. And you run out of money. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to draft that well when you don't have a one. Mm-hmm. The Rams have found a way to do it because they keep finding guys like John Johnson that they took in the 4th round that was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Problem is, there's not a lot of those guys. And eventually, you keep kicking that can down the road, and you're going to wind up with a roster that has the same problem the Kansas City Chiefs had. You're holding a Super Bowl trophy today for the very same reason that I'm saying the Rams are, you better win one this year. Because your depth gets killed. Because you can't afford to keep paying these guys. You can only have so many $15+ million deals on your salary cap. Mm-hmm. And then you wind up where the Saints are. And I got news for you. The Saints are going to be one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL next year. I don't give a fuck who their quarterback is. I don't care if they find the fountain of youth, dunk Joe Montana in it, and put him in there at 28 years old. They're going to be the worst team. They'll be the worst team in that division.
Okay.
Because that roster's not going to look anything like what you think it is.
Right. They're going to have to blow it up because of the cap hell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like talking about the cap.
I'm with you. It gets hard to pay a quarterback, but when you have and when it comes to guys like Lamar Jackson and making that decision, absolutely. But to me, Lamar Jackson's not in the same class as Deshaun Watson. That's a guy who I feel like can be successful in this league, and so that's why I keep asking you questions about, what is the fair market value for Deshaun Watson? Because honestly, I don't have any grasp of it. If I was running one of these organizations, I would probably run it into the ground because I'd give whatever I had to get a guy like that.
And see, that's the thing. You have to think 3 steps ahead.
Of course.
This is what I always said was Bill Belichick's biggest problem, but Tom was the cure-all. Mm-hmm. Because you have guys that are willing to take 30% of market value to play with Tom. Because historically, if you signed a 4-year deal with Tom, you had about an 85% chance of winning a ring. There's not a quarterback like that now.
Right.
There's not one of those. You don't look at Pat Mahomes that way. You don't. Not after what we just saw. Mm-hmm. That linebacker core was fucking awful. The secondary was atrocious. The offensive line could have been the 2 of us and 3 other dudes, and you wouldn't have been shocked. So you look at these huge market deals where the market has swelled. You ask me what's fair market value on Deshaun Watson, I'll tell it to you point blank. Mm-hmm. If I'm a GM I'm a Jets fan. I'll use the Jets. If I'm the Jets, I call the Houston Texans right now. I say, here's what we'll do. We'll give you We'll give you Sam Darnold. We'll give you 2, and we'll give you our 1 next year. That's my final offer. I'm not bidding against myself.
Right.
I'm going to keep Seattle's pick. I'm going to keep Seattle's pick next year because you're going to incentivize Seattle above my pick. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving you the better of my 2 picks next year, even with Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. That's my final offer. I'm not bidding against myself. And that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think there's a team that's going to make a Herschel Walker deal for Deshaun Watson.
No.
Because it doesn't make any sense. You've got a guy that's already been paid, and now you're going to build a roster. I mean, do you really think people are going to take less money to play with Deshaun Watson? The answer's no. They're not doing it with Russell Wilson. Why the fuck would they do it with Deshaun Watson? Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson has a ring. Mm-hmm. Deshaun Watson has a playoff win. 2. It's actually 2. They beat the Bills. They beat somebody else. I don't remember who it was. That's it.
Yeah.
Guys aren't taking less money to play with that. They're not taking less money to play with Pat Mahomes. They're not taking less money because this is not Tom. We've been spoiled by Tom. It's borderline impossible to build a dynasty in the NFL now. Mm-hmm. New England found the cure-all in that Brady was willing to take a pay cut, which is rare because he made $1 bajillion from Ugg boots and all the other weird shit he sponsors.
Right.
And he went, you know what? I don't need the salary like that. We can put it in unlikely to be reached incentives that we can keep kicking the can down the road, and eventually I'll get it.
Yeah.
Miami, I'm the same way. Okay, I'll give you Tua Tagovailoa. I'll give you my 1 this year. I'll give you my 1 next year. I'm not giving you the second one. I'm not giving you the second one. I need to find a receiver to put with Deshaun Watson. Mm-hmm. Or we're in a better shape than we were, but we're still on a Super Bowl team. If I give you 3 1s and the guy that I took last year, it's 4 years in a row that I don't have my own pick. You think that's a way to build a team? You better be drafting like a damn wizard. Because that's the only way your team's going to be any better than what he has right now. I mean, you understand. The thing about what Deshaun Watson has right now, that was 4-12, by the way, or 5-11, or whatever the hell they were. He has one of the best defensive ends in the league. He has one of the best left tackles in the league. He has a wide receiver that's about to get paid. He has another wide receiver that's either going to stay in Houston or get paid again.
Yeah.
They had talent on that team. Problem is they have no depth. So as soon as somebody goes down, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. Okay. You give up 4 1s for Deshaun Watson, you have the exact same problem that Houston did. Which is why I think it's the Jets and I think it's the Dolphins, because the difference in getting 2 and 3 this year and getting 8 is huge. What did I say? It was the equivalent to the 12th pick in the draft?
Yep.
The difference between 8 and 2? Yeah. And Houston's going to go, okay, that starts our rebuild. Here we go. See you, Deshaun. We're not going to pay that $30-some-odd million. We'll take the dead cap hit. We have David Culley. We know that this is going to be an ugly year, and hopefully 3 years from now we're competitive.
Yep.
And we're going to do the same thing with J.J. Watt. Mm-hmm. Ship J.J. Watt out of town, may outright cut him because I don't know that anybody will take him. I don't know that anybody would trade for him on the deal that he currently has because he stays hurt all the time. And that's all I got to say about that.
I mean, they're in complete blow-up mode. They should be. I think there needs to be a deal done. All of this grandstanding that they're doing, we're not going to trade Deshaun Watson. Nobody's buying that. Or are you?
No.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to.
I think that's the only way you actually screw this up. Mm-hmm. I think the one way Houston can screw this up is the hardline stance, say we're not trading him, hold on to him, and then you've got Deshaun Watson. I mean, it's Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yep.
You know a lot about how Casey sings. You know who the bass player was? No, because nobody gives a shit.
Turns out Jeremy was right about one very specific thing in the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets they're on quite the little losing jag here. They just can't seem to figure it all out. And we're going to talk about it this afternoon on ESPN Asheville.
They can't play defense. Worth a fuck.
880.
They couldn't play dead in a Western on defense. I have to give this stat because I've been 11 of their last 12 games they've given up 120 points or more. You don't stand a snowball's chance in Atlanta of winning in this league that way.
Tune in this afternoon, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We'll get into all of the breaking news throughout the day as well. Stick with us. Follow, like, and share the Sportsocracy on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. Be sure to go and follow us on the YouTube channel, because we are going to be making our way over to YouTube. Not exclusively, but
YouTube
most
lets
of the
me do
product.
some more fun stuff.
Right.
We've got some fun stuff to announce that we can't actually do on Facebook. So Facebook will still have a role. We're not completely getting away from Facebook, but we are trying to venture over to YouTube predominantly.
Exactly. At the Sportsocracy, like I said, on all of the social medias. Like it, share it, and follow it. We're live from the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yeah.
We'll see you this afternoon.